Welcome to the causes and solutions of sleep apnea. So in the medical world, they call it obstructive or central. Tonsils, obesity, jaw issues, alcohol it can cause a loosening of all the muscles. And so when you're laying back, the loose structures, because you don't have good tone of the tongue, can start to obstruct the airways. And one of the signs is snoring, because that's everything vibrating. Okay. The central sleep apnea, medications, nervous system, and alcohol. So we have to look at what this is. Now, signs that you may have this: snoring, dry mouth, brain fog, high blood pressure. Okay, the list could go on. Okay, but when you're looking at it, what are the solutions? Okay, well, in the world, all you do is change sleeping positions. Now, should people be able to sleep on their back, their side, their front, everything? Yes or yes? Yeah. Is there any animal on the planet that lays down and forgets to breathe? Okay, so is everybody in agreement that this is an alarm telling you there's a problem? Okay, weight loss, absolutely. But is that causing it? Are there fat people that can sleep good? Then decrease medications and alcohol. That makes sense. And then surgery. Let's remove the appendage apart. We're going to cut out the tonsils or adenoids, even though there's multiple studies that show if you have your adenoids or tonsils removed, that there's an increase in lung infections and immune system weakening. You have parts that you could live without, but all the parts have a purpose. Don't say duh. He's so irritating. And then the CPAP machine, which forces air into the lungs. Now, what are the effects of sleeping with a machine on? I know, it satisfies that Darth Vader fantasy. Okay, I think that's attractive too. No, it's not, okay? But then you get nasal and throat issues because you're constantly imparting it, infections because it's very hard to clean that machine, skin issues, and you're forcing air in, so it could get air into the gastrointestinal tract, negatively affecting it. Toxic gas exposure for sure, because you can't clean it and some of the parts can eventually break down. And then eventually jaw and dental issues. So it sounds like fun, doesn't it? Okay, no, let's look at the actual cause. So when we look at the cause, we know, and all you can do, and I'm going to give you a demonstration so that you can induce the problem now. This is a side view of a normal neck. Now, a normal neck, you got to look at the structures. The brain doesn't stop at the skull. There's an oblong section that extends the top third of the neck. Okay, then we look at the nerve to the diaphragm. The breathing muscle comes out of the middle of the neck. This is why we say C3, C4, C5 keeps you alive. When we look at this, then the brachial plexus, all the nerves that supply the upper arm come out of the neck. So the neck is super important, and it has a curve. And what's the one thing that we do on every patient? We take an x-ray, identify if there's a loss of curve. If there's a loss of curve, we do some adjustments and take an x-ray and show the curves there. Well, what I want to do, I want to induce nerve compression. So I want you to sit up nice and straight in the chair, and we're going to induce a screwed up neck. And you tell me how good you feel. You're going to take your chin and pull it back. So what you're doing, so this is normal, you're pulling it back. Can you feel a change in your throat? Yeah. Okay, you're actually forcing this reversal of the curve, doing a translation backwards, okay? And this is going to affect the tongue, it's going to affect the soft palate. If your neck is permanently like this, you're not going to be breathing really good. I know, I can't hold it long. I've got a normal curve in the neck. Okay, so obviously when you're looking at this, this creates what's called spinal stenosis. Now, you're also looking at the pressure on the brainstem. Now, this is huge. Hopefully you can get to a chiropractor that's going to identify a problem and get an x-ray and, show that you're getting the body correct. That would be ideal, except not many chiropractors are doing that. Now, so what happens They call the curve in the neck the arc of life. Well, loss of curve, cardiac and respiratory issues. Why? Because the brain doesn't stop at the skull. You get the cardiac and respiratory center. In fact, that brain only weighs 1 kilo, burns 90% of the body's oxygen. It's super important. And it does that by creating its own food called cerebral spinal fluid. If there's a loss of curve, I check everyone on the top of the head to see if it's tender. If it is tender, I tell you, do the neck curve exercise. We've got to get that curve back to allow that cerebral spinal fluid to drain. If I see that there's no tenderness up there, what do I tell you? I say, good job. That means you're doing good. This is not the problem. This is a barometer for saying you have a loss of curve or reversal of the curve. Okay, does that make sense? So you got the cardiac and respiratory center here. And in fact, when they would hang people, okay, they wouldn't choke them to death if they did the hanging correctly. They would literally break off this top bone, which is the second cervical nerve. It would put pressure on the brainstem, shutting off the heart and lungs. Okay, so they would literally, you would break their nervous system and they would die. So that was the old way to hang them. But cardiac and respiratory, because you're compressing the brainstem and the nerve to the diaphragm, C3, C4, C5 keeps you alive. So this diaphragm is working because your neck is functioning. And I've even had a patient, who I'm not going to mention, who had tenderness here. And all I did, because you end up loving people, you end up wanting to help. I held her neck in a curve and had her deep breathe 10 times. And then I checked it and the tenderness went away. Cool, huh? Yeah, okay. That's just a demonstration to say, please do the exercise. Okay. High blood pressure. Why? Because you're compressing the nerves that regulate blood pressure. Parasympathetic nervous system. Half of it's located here, and that's the rest, digest, and repair. Reflux. Why? Because the nerve to the diaphragm comes out of the middle of the neck. You compromise that diaphragm's going to be weak. The stomach's going to pooch up. The sinuses, shoulder, elbow, wrist, all of these things, brachial plexus, thoracic outlet, and the tongue. The tongue is supposed to be, when you're sleeping, on the roof of the mouth. And that's because all the structures underneath have good tone. The tongue has 4 of the 12 cranial nerves, 7, 9, 10, and 12. This will be on the test, Doc. I know. I just love scaring the students, okay? It was one of the joys I had being a teacher. Okay, so the cranial nerves come out of the top of the neck there, okay? So obviously, if you have pressure on the cervical spine, it's not going to work right. So I'm going to show you a quick exercise because we're going to go through everything. And this will work with any type of neck, okay? You're going to sit up nice and straight, and you're going to keep your chin slightly elevated, okay? And we're going to hold everything for 3 seconds, and we're going to do everything 3 times. It'll make sense in a second. So you turn your head. Well, one thing I don't want you to do is roll your head in a circle. That's coupling motion. If you have something like these two, you don't want to do that. If you have a normal neck, coupling motion is okay. So I'm going to explain right now. You turn your head as far as you can to one side and hold it there and force it 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Then as far to the other side as you can. Hold it there. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do this, 3 times. Hold it there. 1, 2, 3. The other side. Hold it there as hard as you can. 1, 2, 3. Other side. This is the third one. Give it. Kick it, man. 1, 2, 3. And then kick it. Well, as hard as you can. 1, 2, 3. Then we go back to middle. Then you go up, not back where I'm bending at my waist. You keep your head in line and you go up as hard as you can. Up. 1, 2, 3, and then back to normal. And then up. 1, 2, 3, and then back to normal. And then up. 1, 2, 3, and then back to normal. Then this is the hard one if you're missing a curve in the neck. You keep your shoulders level, your nose in the straight, and this is the pivot point. One ear down to one side. 1, 2, 3. One ear down to the other side. 1, 2, 3. Then back. 1, 2, 3. Try to keep your chin up when you're doing this. And then 1, 2, 3. And then one more time. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. And then guess what we got to do again? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to do 3 sets of this. And if your job is gardening, where you're bend and turn and twisting, if you're a chiropractor, where I'm bend and turn and twisting all day long, you're fine. You can do that 1 or twice a day. Okay. If your job is at an office, a desk, a cell phone, your head's forward, or you have the benefit, the God blessing benefit that somebody took an x-ray of your neck and said there's a problem. So if you've had a doctor anywhere that, and you have the blessing that somebody told you you're missing the curve in the neck, fix the neck. Does that make sense? Because there's a stewardship to the body. That exercise will work for everyone. Now, if you've had surgery, and this is where part of the neck is fused, just realize that when you're turning your head, 50% of the rotation is at just this joint. 50% of the rotation of the neck is at the lower neck. So if you have alterations in the lower neck, okay, you're not going to turn as well. Now I'm going to demonstrate that right now, really, really clear. Okay, now only if you want to try this, okay, I would recommend. So right now, you keep your chin up, okay? Why? Because you're better than others. Okay, no, you keep your chin up, okay, and see how far you can turn your head. One side and the other side. Okay, pretty good. Now, I want to make your neck loss of curve. So you put your head really far forward. Okay, really far forward. I know you have, it sucks to do this, okay? Just hang in there, okay? And then try and turn it. It doesn't really work, does it? Okay, why? Because here you're using the C1, C2, which is 50%, that's the top of the neck, and the other part of the neck is working. When you're missing the curve in the neck, you're only using C1, C2. So everyone, okay, that has a decreased range of motion is missing the curve in the neck. Does that make sense? So rules of 3. Hold it for 3 seconds. Hold it for 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do it 3 times. Fantastic. Now you're going to see I'm missing one movement. Okay, when I'm recommending this, I'm missing stretching that chin down to the neck. Do you want to know why? Because in modern society, I'm not seeing anyone with an accentuated curve. The majority of people I'm seeing is they're starting and stopping in traffic. They're constantly on their cell phone. They're constantly at the computer. Their head is constantly forward. That's not what we're designed for. So these exercises are designed for the modern human. If you're working in the farms, you're a contractor, you're a chiropractor, you're moving all day, you have a beautiful curve, beautiful. These exercises will be benefit. If you have a loss of curve, these exercises will be a benefit. But I am not going to show you how to stretch your neck. Because if these muscles back here are firing off, they're firing off to correct the problem. Does that make sense? That's why I don't recommend massaging or anything else. The problem with the diagnosis, are there fat people who can sleep good? Absolutely. Are there people with swollen tonsils that can sleep good? Absolutely. Jaw issues, there's tons of people, MMA fighters, people that have had their jaw fractured and broken. And not all of them have sleep issues, okay? And there is no animal on the planet that lays down and forgets to sleep. So none of these things are the causes. They're contributing factors. God bless you, Kapung Krap.